What's good, everybody? What's good? We're back. I'm back. Well, maybe you too. I guess we, right? But I'm back. And yeah, it's been a long day, I'm telling you. It's just this weather sucks so bad, and I am not in the mood for it. Tell you the truth. It makes me freaking tired, and I hate winter. I hate it. So yeah, so we're back. We're playing playing Gerda. I don't know why I keep saying we. Like, what the fuck? Is it like all my millions of personalities in there? Probably they're like, tell her we're here. Tell them we're here. Um. Anyway, so let me see, because I'm not seeing my sound coming through. So give me 1 second. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this because I wanted to bring y'all up to speed. What's going on? What this game is about? Because I don't know how popular this game really is. I feel like okay, there is sound. I feel like it should be more popular though, because my God, I am impressed with like the choice system in this game is absolutely amazing, and I can't imagine how complicated it really is, like just based on the interactions I've had and guessing what you could do and where things can end up. So I'm kind of impressed with this game, and I'm a little surprised that it's not out there more than it seems to be. But maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. It didn't seem to be like I saw the all right, good. Sound works. When I looked it up on Steam, and just to give y'all an idea of this game, right? So when you look this game up on Steam, the reviews very positive, 280 reviews. Okay. Game came out in 2022. Games September 2022. So it's about 2 years old, right? It was developed by Birdsland Portaplay and published by Don't Nod. So this game doesn't seem very popular, and I'm shocked. Now, out of those reviews, everybody ranks it super high. Everybody loves it. Anybody that's played it has loved it. I didn't know what to expect from it, to be honest, because of the fact not a lot of people played it. I was expecting something great because of Don't Nod being attached to it, but then again, Don't Nod does seem to have some games that were like, meh. Nothing I've played yet. Whatever I've played from them, I absolutely love. But now this game is interesting because they are the publisher, but I can see pieces in this game that I feel like are part of their style. For example, there's a diary that you can read to kind of understand a little more about the character prior to the events, and you can go back and review interactions. That's not exclusive to Don't Nod, but that is something that they do have in all their games. Um, there's also some of the dialogue seemed a little bit like possibly them. And I do feel like based on the stories they do, so Tell Me Why, as you know, is the story of a trans man, and and their mother, died and all that. So I'm not going to get into that. That's not about this. But then Life is Strange 2 is obviously about Mexican American boys who their father is killed by the police and they're on the run. And the boy, Daniel, my favorite fucking character in all of Life is Strange, has telekinetic powers, and it is super fucking amazing. And here we go again, where we're having issues with my frames on this game. I don't get it. Give me a second. Maybe if I change the resolution. I don't really want to do that, but let me see what we can do here. Ooh, that looks terrible, but I don't know. Maybe we can try to work with this here. Anyway, so this game though, okay, Gerda, what happens in this game? So this game is about a woman. She is Danish and she's also German. So her father is German, her mother is Danish. And you start out right before the German occupation of Denmark, okay? So it's right at that period of history, late 30s, right? she's getting married to someone named Anders. Anders is Danish, okay? So her father and mother, there seems to be like some kind of, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that this doesn't crap out on us because I'm watching my frames drop while I'm sitting here. Okay. So the father and the mother, there does seem to be some kind of, even early on, there does seem to be some kind of disagreement between them, mostly because of the German versus Danish. The big issue in the way beginning is Gerda's father works for the train. I think he's a conductor. And he joins up with the party in Denmark, so the Germans, right? Because he's German, and one of their initiatives is to move the border up so that they can be part of Germany. And he's on board with that because he says, when I was younger, back in my day, this was Germany, Ross, you know? And Gerda says, or you can say for Gerda, like, how can you do this? And the father says, I don't agree with all their policies, but... And that's always how these fascist regimes take hold, right? I don't agree with everything, but, you know. So Gerda's father is definitely the representation of that, okay? Anders is very upset because he's Danish through and through, and fuck this is terrible. And Gerda, you can kind of choose where she lies. So Gerda, the interesting thing about that, and I'll explain in a minute, but more in a minute, but you say things, the more you say and do for certain sides, it does shift her alliances too. Because at first I was a little upset by it. I was like, but I'm only doing this because I want to, you know, play these people. I obviously have to play the game in order to get what I want. But the reason why it makes sense is because when you're doing these things, it's about how you are perceived differently by the other side. So for example, if you do something for the Germans, then the Danish people are going to be like, fuck that, like she's a traitor, you know? So it does make sense that it does kind of cement Gerda's allegiances, right? Anyway, so moves forward a couple years after that. So it's Christmas in the beginning. Gerda is coming home from school. Gerda has just become a nurse and she's going to work in the town clinic, right? Moves past a few years, and after the invasion, so Germany comes in, as we all know the story, right? Germany comes in, they invade Denmark, and everything starts getting fucked up and crazy and whatever. So Gerda has married Anders at that point. You start out, it's like a typical morning. Anders is getting up early, and he works in a mechanic shop. He's going to work with his friends, and they have some jobs that they're going to do. So he's on his way out to do that. And Gerda is working in the clinic that day. Sorry. All right. So Gerda is going to work in the clinic that day. So you go to work with Gerda after Anders leaves, and then you meet the doctor, Harold. Okay. He's a Danish doctor, and does not clearly openly despises the Nazis. Okay. Very openly. Has no problem telling them or anybody else, so very vocal. And the sense that you get from these people, from people around them, is the fear, like, they'll hear you, you know, they're starting to go after people, even if they didn't do anything, but just for saying something wrong. We know that, right? So nothing new there. But he clearly openly despises them. Now, so then we meet the pastor, Pastor Jacob, okay? I'm sorry, my kids. So then we meet Pastor Jacob. He comes in and he's overly dramatic. He's coughing like he's, you know, and you don't really know the story with him yet, but long story short, he's trying to do, hold on a second. Sorry, my son. All right, so he's trying to get penicillin. So this is when penicillin was new. And Harold had obtained a sample vial. So he's got one little vial of penicillin, and he is not giving the shit up for anybody. He is like, I am going to study it. That's the reason why I got it. I have no interest in giving this out. But this is what Pastor Jacob is trying to get. So it's like, what does he want that for if he's just got a cough and he's talking about his throat? But you kind of overlook it that maybe he's a hypochondriac in the beginning. At least that's kind of where I was going with it. So after that, the Nazis show up and they have a wounded soldier, and Harold is very upset. He's like, I am not treating this guy. I don't care. But they bring him in, you treat him. And this is where you have the first interaction with Reinhardt. So he is a very interesting character. Probably, I'm going to put him at the top of my list right now as being the most interesting. So he comes in and he's going through the medicine cabinet. He's got the painkillers in his hand. And he clearly has an addiction to something. They frequently show him he's got a runny nose. And he tells Gerda he wants the penicillin. And at that point, you could take everything from him or you could give it to him. You could try to strike a deal. And I just kind of took everything from him, like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? This is our shit. So he gets pissed. And I'm like, oh, great. Now the Nazi soldier is pissed at us, right? So you fix up the soldier. They leave. But you're in good standing with Wolfgang, who is like a higher ranking officer than Reinhardt. So you're like, well, Reinhardt may hate us, but that guy likes us, so I guess we're good. So your father is also out in the street with his, party buddies, and you have a choice. You could talk to him or not. I did go talk to my father because I feel like that's our dad, and, it can't hurt Gerda's cause to appear to be okay with them. It does hurt a little bit with the Danes, but let's be real, the Danes don't have any power, so we can help them more, I feel like, by sort of working that. That's kind of how I'm playing the game, right? So we go home and there's this whole chaotic scene. There's blood in the snow. There's a car in the freaking driveway. And we go inside. The Gestapo is there. So this guy's Stahl, and he's the head of the Gestapo there, and he is interrogating Anders. And he tells Gerda, like, we're taking him, you can say goodbye to him, and that's it. So you have a moment to, like, fix up his wounds, because he's been fucked up. Like, his whole face is fucked up. That point, he tells Gerda, like, don't forget to feed the chickens. And, like, she knew he fed them in the morning. So you can be like, huh? Or you can be like, I won't. So I just been like, I won't. Because obviously he's trying to tell us something. And then he winks. So you go in, after they leave, you go into the chicken coop. And in there, she finds all these papers. And you find out that Anders is part of the resistance. Which is cool. I had that feeling, though. Hold on one second. Hold on. Sorry. So at that point, oh my gosh, hold on. All right, so at that point, you get the papers, you find out he's part of the resistance, which I kind of had a feeling, because when he gets up at 4 in the morning, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, this bro's into something. This guy's into something, because we saw in the beginning how much against us he was. Like, he's definitely down with something. So he was, but it turns out he's actually a lot higher up in the resistance than even I would have expected. So that's crazy, but... So he gets arrested, and Stahl tells Gerda to come in the morning. We go in the morning. We talk to Stahl. It turns out that Gerda's cousin works there. She's Stahl's secretary. You have an opportunity to snoop around. Now, something I didn't mention because it wasn't relevant until just now, I feel like. The big thing that the resistance had done, which alerted the Gestapo to Anders' involvement and everything else, was they blew up a factory. All right. So find out that there is a guy that owns the factory. This guy, oh my god, what's his name? Vanderweiss? I don't know, some factory owner, right? I think it's Vander something. Hold on. Shoot, I've been good with the names up to this point. Now I just totally blanked out on this guy's name. I'm gonna just turn it on so I could pull it up. Anyway, so this guy owns a factory, and apparently there is some shady shit going on. but like the Nazis are questioning his loyalty, right? So they have some kind of deal worked out with this guy, okay? And they're like questioning him. We find that through papers that they're questioning his loyalties to the party and like what he might possibly be doing and all this stuff, right? So, all right, let's see, folks. I don't get his name. Hold on. Oh, these are people that, okay, we haven't talked to him yet, so hold on. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm like flipping out about my kids right now because they're being so obnoxious. You know, it's like, do you have to scream and yell constantly? I swear to God, like, I've never seen it before in my life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, hold on a second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So while I was asking my kids to stop screaming and acting like ridiculous, they weren't screaming, fighting. They were just being super, super loud. And it was just like, anyway, while I was doing that, I looked up his name. So it's Vestergaard, okay? So Vestergaard is the guy that owns the factory. Now, so you're not really sure like where he stands or even what he's doing. So you're like, well, what is his secret deal? And like, why was the resistance so interested to blow up this factory? Like, what was the deal there? What were they doing in there? So that's kind of the focus of like what Gerda's doing is finding out because now we have to help Anders and he sends Gerda, obviously, he says, you need to deliver this to the Sparrow, who's actually someone called Leva, who's the head of the resistance, which you can play as Leva as well. So I'm playing as Gerda now. And you could also play Leva's story, which those events precede the events in Gerda, okay? So it turns out that they were also hiding a Jewish mother and daughter, which leads to literally the most fucking difficult decision that you have to make. And not it's like you're literally forced to make a decision between like compassion and trying to save your husband because where are you going to go? Are you going to trust the resistance to save your husband? Are you going to trust the Nazis? Who are you going to trust? The Danes? So you go, you see the little girl and her daughter's sick. You find out that the pastor has been helping him, and that's what he wanted the penicillin for because the Jewish girl is sick and she needs it. Okay, so she's going to die if she doesn't get the penicillin. Then you go to the resistance, you meet Sparrow, find out just how respected Anders actually was with the resistance and what he has done for the resistance. But then, on top of that, they have a wounded member of the resistance that has an infected gunshot wound, which would need penicillin. And then Reinhardt, remember the soldier from the beginning that was trying to steal shit, and you were like, fuck that. And he was like, oh, we could have a good deal worked out. Da da da. He wants the penicillin. So you have three people. So Peter is a friend of Anders and a friend of Gerda, and he says, I'll meet you at the clinic. We have to go in there and steal the penicillin. And then Reinhardt says, meet me at the, the opposite end. These are just randomly where they wanted to meet, so it wasn't anything. Meet me there, we'll break in, we'll steal the penicillin. And then you can also just steal the penicillin and give it to the pastor. So I chose to just break in and then see what would happen, and maybe, because I honestly didn't know. Like, I was inclined to give it to the little girl. I'm like, look, honestly, the resistance isn't doing a great job so far of, you know what I'm saying? I get it, I'm like down with their mission, but I'm not so confident they're going to be able to save my husband, right? Or Gerda's husband. But a little girl's a little girl, and compassion, I couldn't, so. But I also felt the pastor may have more sway. And then I was like, maybe we can figure something out with Reinhardt eventually. That's not penicillin, but... So... But when you break in, what happens is Peter and Reinhardt also break in, and Harold interrupts them, and Peter accidentally kills Harold the doctor, which is so fucked. Okay? But what's also fucked... Reinhardt knows that Gerda snuck in for the penicillin. Peter knows that Gerda snuck in for the penicillin, and they both feel they've been betrayed. So now you're fucked. But you do meet up with the pastor, you give him the penicillin, and he does have a lot of sway with the Gestapo, enough to at least be able to see Anders and pass shit to him. So it kind of does work out. So then the resistance moves to this inn, and you find out this inn is also a place that works with the resistance and helps them out. So they have the Jewish mother and daughter, Esther and Sophia, and then the Sparrow and Peter are there. Now, the fucked up part is, you're there talking to Peter, and all of a sudden this kid pops out of the van, and it's none other than Stahl's son. Stahl, the head of the Gestapo, his son, snuck into Peter's truck, heard everything that's going on. So that's fucked up. So now he's tied up, and the resistance is keeping him, like, captive because they don't know what to do. Because he's going to go back and tell his father, and then they're all fucked. So they have to come up with a plan. But that's kind of where I left off. I'm about to... So there's this big party that Vestergaard is having, right? And I didn't mention Margit, his daughter, because, I don't know, there wasn't really anything too relevant there that I saw yet. But I didn't really play that story either, because you can go see her and do all this stuff, and I just haven't played it, and I thought I would have time to do it. I'm regretful that I didn't. But there's this big party, and like all the Nazi like high ups are gonna be there and all this stuff. So I'm totally going there because I feel like now also Reinhardt, I forgot. Oh my god, this is huge. Reinhardt used to be an actor, and he is very dirty. He is like both sides, not dirty like I think he's cool because fuck the Nazis, right? But yeah, he's not down with that cause at all, and he is all over. He's making deals. He even admits that he's the one that got the resistance their guns. Like, he's actually a lot cooler than I thought. He does allow us to kind of make up for betraying him with the penicillin and just kind of get some information for him about these new smugglers in town. So now we kind of have a thing with him. However, he got in trouble by Wolfgang, and that's his commanding officer. I don't know the names in the German military, so, yeah, I don't know exactly what his title is, but yeah, he's above Reinhardt. He tells him he's got to leave the next day, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But now we're going to the party, we're getting ready, and it should bring you up to speed. Anders is still in prison by the Gestapo, but we're still trying to get him out. And like I said, so this is the party. I'm trying to work the whole... I'm trying to work more with them right now, but I'm not leaving the resistance high and dry. They also want us to get information from this party. So everybody is kind of needing something from this party. So see what happens, man. This game, though, it's genius. This game is so genius. Like, the choices, you really feel the impact of your choices in this game. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But so good.
There's something up ahead.
Alright, so I left off right here at this something up ahead, whatever it is. I don't know. About to find out, I suppose. Alright. Let me just check with the game audio. And hopefully we don't drop frames again tonight. My stream dropped like 6 times last night. I was so pissed. Alright, so let's see. Oops, what's he doing out here all by himself? It's almost dark. He's shaking his head, his eyes fixed on the tractor with a steady glare. Those goddamn louts. When I get my hands on him, I swear I'll... Hello, Herbrand. Oh, hello, Frau Larson. Say, have you seen any Danish thieves around here? How would I tell if they were thieves? Oh, never you mind that. Give me a hand, will you? I'd do me good to know oh God, I think it's supposed to be, it would do me good to know there's still some decent folk left in this country. Sure, how can I help? That's the spirit. All I need you to do is start the engine while I have a look at it from the other side. So here's your panel, right? What I'm trying to do is kind of keep everything kind of even. I'm bad with the resistance right now. I'm super fucked with the resistance, but it's just kind of because, I don't know. I haven't really, like, I definitely let them down with the penicillin, but they know that I've been talking to the Nazis, so they're not really trustful, but... So those are I'm obviously doing better with the occupation, which is the Nazis, and then the Germans are the German citizens where they live, and then obviously the Danes are the Danish people, so. And as I said before, Gerda is half Danish, half German. Okay. Oh, and her mother left her father and lives in Copenhagen, so her mother is actually not part of the events of this game. It's her father, but you don't see him too much, but that's what's going on there. All I need you to do is start the engine while I have a look at it from the other side. Now don't worry, this should be real simple. I've already readied it, so it should be no trouble for a young lady such as yourself. All you need to do is pull the handle here. Got it. Good, let's try it. See how you could be like really rude to them and like kind of shut them down or whatever, so... You can be all Nazis if you want. You can be all Germans if you want. So I would imagine there are several possibilities of where the story can go. That's why I said I think it's like a very complicated like choice system. So, alright, are you ready? Ready. Now, turn it on. Oh, you probably have to pull it hard. Is it working? No, try again. How about now? No. There we go. Whoa. Jesus Christ almighty. Is everything okay? His finger's bleeding. Ah, cut myself on the edge of those darn screws. Are you alright? Yeah. Don't trouble yourself, dear girl. It'll take more than a bitty scratch like that to fell me. Now, where did I put my handkerchief? Ah, there it is. It looks really dirty. Oh, we don't have medical supplies. But it'll have to do. The old man finishes wrapping his handkerchief around his finger. There, good as new. What happened to the tractor? Why did it go off like that? Someone must have sabotaged the engine. How? They might have cut a wire or put something foul in the fuel tank. I'm not sure the tractor will recover. It cost me a fortune, it did. When do you think it happened? Well, it went missing a couple of days ago. Stolen. I'm sure it's one of Herr Mortensen and his ilk. That family is always snapping at my heels like a hungry pack of wolves. Uh-oh. Mr. Mortensen, having trouble with your tractor, old man? Speak of the devil. What are you doing here, you good-for-nothing lout? Just passing by. Oh, don't try to act all innocent. I bet you're the one behind this. You always were a bully, even a thief. And a thief even as a boy. What are you blabbering on about? Don't think I've forgotten that you and your ruffian friends stole apples from my orchard. And you wouldn't even eat them whole. You would simply take a single bite and leave them all to rot on the ground. Oh, but he was only a boy. Once a thief, always a thief. Now, confess. I don't know what you're talking about, old man. I've been at work in town all day. You can ask at the store. They'll tell you. But I do hope it was someone in my family who did it. You deserve it after what you've taken from us. Don't start on that. My ancestors laid claim on this farm long before your grandpa even drew his first breath. So you keep saying, but my family knows the truth. Isn't it time you buried the hatchet? Ha! Only place I'd like to bury a hatchet is in the back of that senile old coot. You better watch your mouth. And you, Frau Larson, you're much too young and starry-eyed to understand. The past is not so easily forgotten. It's a vital part of our identity, our culture. And besides, if the farms can't produce enough goods, then someone down the line will starve. It's hard enough to make ends meet with both of my sons off to war, and you damn Danes are too stubborn to help. And why should we? You only sell to Germans anyway. Mark my words, old man. When this war ends, we'll take back what is rightfully ours. Are you threatening me? On my own property? I won't stand for it. Why, I have a good mind to report you to the authorities for that kind of treasonous behavior. Huh. The Gestapo will not offer justice. They might arrest them even if there is no evidence. You're probably right. But what about my tractor? Who's going to pay for the repairs? It's not my problem. Now I've got some place to be. Farewell. You see that, though? That was, like, fucked up. I should get going as well. The festivities at Vestergaard Manor will no doubt be starting soon. Yeah, I can't wait for this shit. It's going to be wild. How come we're not wearing a fancy dress and shit, though? That would have been fun. We just going to wear that same shit the whole game? Actually, she was wearing a nurse thing before, so maybe she changes. I guess I didn't really care in those times if it was like all fucked up. Maybe they don't care about the party. Oh, look at this dude. Dang. He's living the dream, man. Bro, living the dream. It seems that the entire town has arrived for the banquet. This is my best chance to see if Mr. Vestergaard will help with Anders. I have to convince him. We can do it. We can blackmail him, too. We found out a lot of info. And the smugglers, too. Oh, let's see whose car this is. This damn car is starting to remind me of a hearse. Should we scratch it? Let's do it. Whoops. I left a gash on Stahl's Gestapo car while it was parked outside the banquet. A small revenge. Fuck that guy. Right? He's never gonna know it was me. With everybody there, let him try to figure it out. This seemed so much bigger when I was a child. Margaret and I even used to use it as an ice rink. Oh, I probably should have seen Margaret. That's her friend, by the way. So, but I thought I would have time, but I was doing other things and that disappeared from the map, so. Ooh, look at this. Welcome to the Vestergaard Manor, Mrs. Larson. May I take your coat? Yes, please. Let's be polite now. Oh, look at that. She got a nice shit on. Ah, Gerda, I'm so glad you were able to attend. I know you might not be in the mood for revelry at the moment, but this will be a great opportunity to convert Mr. Vestergaard to your cause. Whatever helps Anders. Yes, we must keep our eyes fixed upon the beacon of our intent. This is why we are here. Well, Frau Larson, welcome. Can I offer you a refreshment? It might help my nerves, but I need to keep my wits about me. Not right now. What about you, dear pastor? It's very kind of you, but I'm afraid champagne is too prickly for my throat. Well, I don't suppose you might be able to procure a hot toddy. Certainly, I'll ask in the kitchen. Yeah, okay. Remember, however, that Vestergaard enjoys a good sparring match. The more prepared you are, the better. Oh, we have no wit. Fuck. He's just in the dining hall now. See if you can catch his ear. Now let's see what we can do. I'm afraid Mr. Vestergaard is in the middle of a private conversation. If you'd like to speak with him, you'll have to wait until dinner. I believe Miss Margit is in her room. She's expecting you. Oh, good, okay. Alright, where's Margit's room? Who's this? Well, if it isn't our little translator. I'd love to chat more, but if you'll excuse us, my associate and I are discussing the middle of... Oh. My associate and I are in the middle of discussing a private wager. That's fine, whatever. I don't really want to talk to your rest anyway. How about that? Alright, where's Margit's room? Oh, what's over here? Can we snoop? This is the door to Margit's room, but it's closed. Ah, my. Who is it, Vera? Father? It's me. Gerda, goodness, what are you doing knocking? Come on in, silly. I don't want to be rude, you know what I'm saying? I'm nearly done here. Can't help reading, huh? Oh, these papers. There are just some accounts I need to look over for Father. Nothing interesting. But enough of that. Goodness, am I glad to see your face. There's so many people out there. Danes, Germans, Nazis, smugglers. I feel as though half of them are ready to thrust a knife into the other half. Your father sure brings people together. Oh, you know Father, he's never been choosy about his company. As long as there's profit to be made, why, I'd wager he'd be happy gallivanting with a swamp toad. I must admit, events like these always make me a bit nervous. There's so much pressure to make a good impression. You always make a good impression. Of course you would say that. You're my oldest friend. But I still appreciate it. And as an aspiring writer does need her material. Oh, and an aspiring, sorry. I'll be out shortly. At least people seem to be enjoying themselves. I would be too if it wasn't for... Oh, of course, this must be such a distraction for you. Have you had any luck speaking with my father yet? No, he seemed wrapped up in a conversation with that Gestapo officer. Father has been keeping unusual company lately. I worry that he's up to more than usual. Mingle until dinner. You might be able to gain more information about what he's doing. Then I'm sure Father will be free to talk. Alright. Alright, here we go. Oh, who are these guys? Stall. Ah, Frau Larson, you made it after all. This is quite the manner, don't you think? A fine example of what can be done when a person chooses to cooperate with the ruling power rather than... Well, you understand. Why, we just approved Vestergaard's purchase of some foreclosed farmland north of town. It's quite the collection he's building up. Interesting. Alright, let's see who else we can get. Who's in here? Can we go? Is this gonna be anything good? Anybody in here? Damn, nice house this is. Of course no one gets a place like this without bending a few rules. Heard this fella's factory was supposed to be a park. Only he made some papers disappear. Smart man. Interesting. Is that the game? Oh wow, I thought there were like people talking out. Oh, is that Reinhardt? We gotta talk to him. Oh, Wolfgang. It's nice to see you socializing, Gerda. I'm glad you are not treating your husband's treachery as a scarlet letter. We cannot allow ourselves to be punished for the sins of others. There's no need to self-flagellate and seek absolution, like your cousin. It seems she has become quite devout as of late and speaks with the pastor often. I'm not sure what to make of it. Okay. Interesting. It shouldn't be long before dinner's ready. Alright, let's see what's up. Her wild. Good lord, half the people at this party are insufferable. I'm gonna need a drink or two. Care to join? I'll pass. Is that Reinhardt? Oh yes, we need to talk to him. Well, well, if it isn't the nurse. Here to help, huh? Meet me in the smoking room after dinner. I might need your help brokering a deal. Dieter, that's our pop. Oh, Gerda, I'm learning so much about the other guests. He doesn't like to talk about it, but did you know that Wolfgang served under Rommel in the African campaigns? That must have been quite the adventure for such a noble young man. If I were young again. Interesting. We're learning about everybody. Who dis? Maybe she'll tell us something. I don't know. Do you know how much stuff Torben and I had to sneak past the inspectors for this party? These damn rich folk think they can get whatever they want. Small things, big things, doesn't matter. Did you hear that new rumor about Vestergaard's factory? That it was made on land allotted for a park? Good grief. Yeah, we did know that, actually. Alright, here we go. Now we gotta talk to Vestergaard and try to save our husband. Oops. And we have no wit. I fucked up. Used my wit. So that's not gonna be good. Alright, where are we gonna sit? Ah, there's our final guest. We finally meet this guy. Please, have a seat, Gerda. Then we can begin the feast. I guess we're sitting over there. At the end. I hope it's good food. Damn. Came all the way. Oh, I came all the way out here. I'm glad you could all join me this evening. It's vital